have more fun. How to have more fun at work. Or how to have more fun while working.
Do you, before we jump into this, do you know any like coding guru that has any familiarity with Facebook?
Coding?
A coding guru that has any familiarity with Facebook. Basically, the Apple have brought in this
a developer.
A developer, yeah.
Coding guru. Tells you how many developers you've worked with. The job description, coding guru.
Yeah.
You get a high school kid.
Anybody? Do you guys do or not? Because I need to. There's an API optimization thing that I can do to overcome Apple's nonsense with Facebook right now. And if I have a coder, a developer, I'll be able to overcome that issue. No one knows one.
Talk to Brennan.
Yeah. Okay.
Brennan will help you out 100%.
That's a good idea.
Yep. Also, if you know a really good bookkeeper, we're potentially looking at switching bookkeepers. Do you go do your own in-house bookkeeping, Brigham?
No, I work with a guy by the name of Tanner Adams. And he is, every time I send him a new client, he's like, do you realize how busy I am? The only reason why I took the client is because I like you. Stuff like that.
So he doesn't want new clients?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Okay.
Every time. Oh my gosh. I'm inundated. Whatever. So I'm going to ask.
Okay.
I got another one if you want it. I don't want to overburden you.
Honestly,
right.
Some people are that way, and that's okay.
No kidding.
All right. Having more fun. Go.
Welcome back to Lip Service for Contractors. Yeah. Ready? All right. It is Lip Service for Contractors, the best site for whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's going to be amazing.
Site. It's a podcast, man.
It's a podcast.
Keep going.
Written stuff. Okay. Welcome back to Service. Love Peter.
Service of Lipton Contractors.
He's lost.
I know. All right.
No more time off.
Contractors. Here we go.
Dangerous.
All right. Lip Service for Contractors, guys. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about having fun at work. How do we put the fun back into work? All of that and much, much more in 60 seconds. Oh, we got to make sure we say subscribe and stuff.
Yeah, just do it right when you get back.
All right, welcome back. Lip Service for Contractors. We're going to be talking about how to put fun into the workplace or back into the workplace or more fun if you've got fun right now. But before we do anything else, we've got to make sure that you are subscribing. If you like this podcast, subscribe. Tell all your friends about us. Got to make sure that they're getting what you're getting on a regular basis. A regular dose of Lip Service for Contractors is a phenomenal way to start your day. So how do we put fun in the workplace, or at least more fun, right? We don't want to just assume that every contracting business is as boring as all get out, right? How do we put some fun in there?
I mean, most. That's terrible, but it's the truth. Well, I think it all depends too. I think most.
Would you say most are what? Most are not fun?
Fun. Because they don't make an effort to be fun, right?
I think most contractors are incredible characters, so they have the potential to be fun, but they allow stress hide their character.
I think individually they're all fun. I don't think there's a lot of systems and a lot of fun built into the business because they just don't think that way. I mean, like, this sounds really stupid, but like, why do we care if we have fun in the business? Because all of your team members will drive further, harder. It's an amazing recruiting tool. And let's be honest, you'll do better if it's more fun and it's a fun environment to walk into. No one wants to walk into that business where it's all work, no play. Everybody's straight-faced, angry, upset. There's negativity in the business. Like, that's just no way anybody wants to live. You don't want to do it. Your team members want to do it. Your customers feel that too. And you can be really successful without having fun. But man, it's just no way to live.
And it totally starts with the leader. Like, if the leader is not actively choosing to have fun in his day-to-day, that and the leader doesn't value fun, the people he attracts probably won't be fun, and all of a sudden your culture kind of sucks and is boring.
Yeah. We could go over lots of examples, but 100% it's the leader. And like when I say fun, like I don't mean like, hey, we got a special cake on their birthday, like building it into the daily process, right? Because a lot of people think like, fun is not a daily thing, and they don't think of how to systematically do it. Here's a perfect example of ridiculousness of fun. My father, Paul Kelly, right, owner of Parker and Sons, he interviews any high level team member, right? He tells jokes, and if you don't laugh at those jokes, you're pretty unlikely to be hired.
I'm making a mental note.
Yeah. If you ever want to work for Paul, he tells bad jokes, and if you laugh, you're significantly ahead of someone who doesn't, which is unbelievable. That's maybe not the strategy I would take.
That's the kind of subjective interview you'll get.
Hey, it is absolutely a strategy we should take. So if we're ever at an event and you want to sell Paul something, just laugh at his jokes. Man, you are hilarious.
For sure.
Okay, taking a mental note. That's awesome.
Yeah, but so that doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're doing that, you don't realize how much. Now that's maybe not the greatest example, right? But like what you're looking for is personality, right? We all hire for personality first. And if they're a fun-loving person and they enjoy and they have a comedic side, or they could be entertained or excitable, like this all fits into the culture too. Like there's a lot of back end stuff that you never really think about. And if you never really think about it, then you don't ever make an effort to make sure it's that way. If you don't make an effort, it probably isn't that way.
I think it's also important to consider like to be more strategic about your incentives. So for instance, I know a contractor who offers his team members massages, and that's nice, but no stories come from those massages. No team bonding comes from those massages. I also know, like company Rhino, most of our listeners are also followers of Rhino. They do a cool thing where they pay for their team members to do something that they've never done before. Yes, that's not being done with a team member, with another team member, but it comes with amazing stories. And those stories come back and they're shared around the culture, and that creates an element of fun. Like, heck yeah, I'm all for, facilitating stress relief, all of that. I think it comes from a really good place and can be done too, but not the only thing, not the only benefit. I think you need to be more strategic about what causes more unity in a fun way.
Laura, when you were mentioning contractors giving massages, all I could see was a contractor getting some rubbing cream on, right? Some rubbing cream on and working on people's shoulders. I was like, I don't know that's gonna work out HR wise. But
to be fair, I would very much have fun seeing somebody attempt to make that happen in their office.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. I've heard, this to me seems a bit bonkers, that I've heard a contractor that hires a massage person in to come into the office. I think that's even a bit interesting.
That's what we were talking about. It's not that they give massages.
Oh no, I know that. No. Do you not know the contractor I'm speaking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No.
They hire a massage person to come into the office.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I think that is
I know people who do that, or they do car washes, or they have lunches and chefs, and like these are all good things, but they don't hit the nail on the head. Like, as weird as this sounds, like having fun in a business is an effort. And just like anything else, like you have to see a return from it. You have to have a goal. Like, does giving those massages, if your team is super overstressed and you're driving them hard, then maybe massages make sense, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, you guys have been pounding so hard. We hit all these goals. Like, everybody I could tell is stressed to the nines. We're going to give everybody either you get 4 hours off or you get an hour-long massage here at the office. I think that accomplishes that, right? But if we're talking about fun, massages aren't fun. They're not building the team atmosphere. They're not really creating
could help morale. Could certainly help morale, right?
Yeah, I can. Oh, for
Lift
sure.
their spirits. And of course, we can go off on examples all day long.
Yeah.
I think if I'm a contractor, I'm asking myself, do I really need to do this? And so why don't we take a second and talk about why you need to do this? The fact of the matter is you've got people that don't have to work for you. They can work if they're good, right? They can work anywhere. And that is extremely prevalent today. People can get a job.
I think we lost Brigham for a sec there.
That's his posing face.
Yeah.
Sounds like though people can get a job somewhere else.
This is true. It's
Yeah.
ended on a threat and then just disappeared. You know.
You know what he said? You know what?
Oh, he's back. I think we got him back.
Have we got him back?
I don't know. Keep going.
you triggered a thought though. So culture, you need to work on your culture when things are actually good. Like it sounds, you see so many contractors when they have a crappy culture, then they start doing team bonding stuff, then they start doing fun stuff, then it's too bloody late. You need to do the things when you need to consistently maintain a healthy culture, so when things do hit the fan, you have a united team that are wanting to step up to the mark and wanting to put up with the less fun environment for a short period of time. It needs to be actively worked on, not worked on when stuff goes poorly. And basically the reason to do it right now is poor times do happen in your business. They will happen in your business, and if you don't build a strong enough culture when things are good, when you come to that crappy time, you won't have a united team enough to stand behind you and get you out of that hole. That's why you do it now.
I'm going to do something a little controversial. And I'm going to disagree because do you need to have a fun culture? The answer, we all know this, is you don't. There's companies that are pretty successful, not the highest level, but right below that aren't fun places to work at all. In fact, they're boring, monotonous, and difficult places to work with. Everybody knows that boss that just you dread every time he comes into the office or comes to talk to you. And that is a model that works. So I think we have to be honest, you don't need to make your business fun. However,
go ahead.
If you took that same leader in that same business and that team member was excited to see you come in the room, I think you get way more buy-in. I think you grow faster. And the biggest thing is those businesses that are driven, that aren't fun, are driven almost entirely, usually overwhelmingly, by the person in charge, which sounds good when you're $1 million business or a $2 million business. When you're 10, 20, 50, 100, you need people to run without you, to sprint ahead of you on things. And it's awfully hard to get people to do that if they're not excited about work and enjoying it every day.
If people don't enjoy their work, they're only there for the paycheck. And do you want your people to be just there because they want money from you? You want to think that you at least have, that you're providing some greater, advantage to their life, along with, you're not going to get the most out of people. We all know this, that money doesn't motivate beyond a certain point. It's basically, as a leader, you're choosing to accept making less money, being less productive, growing slower, and growing in a less fun, happy way. That's what you're choosing to accept if you want to run that kind of an organization.
Yes, but fun is subjective.
Okay.
There's not for some people, the work itself is the fun part, right? We talk about certain jobs, certain people we coach, CSRs, love their job. They have fun being a CSR and sitting in an office surrounded by their coworkers, talking and getting work done and doing things. Some people like the work itself. Some people, a company will try to do certain activities to make it fun, but it just doesn't work for them. Right? I used to work at a company that wanted to take us to Dave and Buster's every couple of weeks and do escape rooms with us, which I like those things, but I personally didn't love them, right? It didn't add to my work experience, because for me personally, I just thought I'd rather be like hanging out with my family right now, to be honest with you. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
So fun is subjective. So I think every
fair.
company should seek to make work enjoyable. How you do that depends very much on your culture, what your people like. At Power Sling Pros, we are a creative motley crew. And so fun for us is getting together every 6 months at a rental somewhere and doing a bunch of, like a couple months ago, we went to St. George, Utah. We rented a bunch of side-by-sides and UTVs and went to the sand dunes in St. George. And that's really fun for us. A couple of us went and hiked some caves at night, and that was fun for us. We get together. During the workday though, I find enjoyment just in what I do, right? I don't necessarily rely on PSP to come up with fun activities for me to keep me engaged, because I just like it.
I think that's
well, the story is it's subjective.
I think that's the key. It's not necessarily activities. It can be. I think activities are good, and to your point, they're subjective. You need to find out what people like, but it's actually just being a fun person to be around. Like it's like when you have meetings with people, are your people positive? That, like, being around that creates enjoyment. Are your people just, if you've consistent negative, if your culture is made up of negative Nellies, it's hard to enjoy it's harder at least to enjoy your day.
So it's not as simple as beanbags and thinking rooms,
Right.
Like you'd find it big corporations.
Kombucha on tap.
Yeah, stop. We got to be more innovative than that, right? Based on our company's culture.
Well, here's what I'm hearing too. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. But like what I heard is some CSRs or some people or yourself enjoy the work because the work is fun, because it's a fun environment, because it's a fun culture, because you enjoy the people you work with. And company B was, hey, that probably didn't exist day to day, but we did events to try to make up for that. And events isn't really what moves them, right?
That's
like
right.
If
That's
I'm like, hey, we're going to be miserable Monday through Thursday, but Friday we do happy hours. Like that doesn't work. And there's companies that do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
true.
I think fun isn't as subjective. Fun, of course, is subjective, but it's not as subjective as you think, because if you're doing a good job hiring, you've built a culture and you have not the same people, but you have people who enjoy the same things, that enjoy doing work, that you're doing all the right things there, then fun isn't as subjective as you think. It's about making the everyday, every process enjoyable, understanding that not everything that we do is exciting, but the things that we can't make exciting, we have to make exciting. And the things that aren't exciting, we have to mitigate the pain as much as possible. Like someone who answers the phone all day, like to me, that's not a fun job, right? But these are people who enjoy that. And everything you said after that is what made it fun. Well, they enjoyed helping out customers. They enjoyed talking to their fellow team members. They enjoyed the atmosphere, right? These are all things that were made. It was either purposely made, which ideally that's what you want. Sometimes it's accidentally made because you have a really good leader in the call center, right? But it still comes from the leader, right? Like that's still forcing fun. Does that
I think
so you're saying,
go ahead.
So I was going to say, so basically you're saying sometimes, not sometimes, but all the time, your ability to enjoy the job itself depends on the culture. Because you can go to company A and love being a CSR and enjoy it and have fun with it. But you could also go to company B, who has a very different culture, and hate the exact same job because it's in a different environment.
Everyone knows that. Everyone's experienced and seen that.
I think Zach's disagreeing. Am I right, Zach, that I think you're saying?
No. I'm just clarifying. No, I totally agree with that. I'm just clarifying that I understand.
So people just enjoyed the task themselves. Like speaking of coders earlier, some people get a kick out of that. They love looking at a screen all day.
Developers.
There's something developers. Maybe the word fun doesn't resonate. It's kind of, people can use the word fun and creating enjoyment, interchangeably. Whatever it is, whatever the word resonates for you. Because if you say Brennan Bouchard, for instance, he has now becoming known for creating positive, joy-filled, productive cultures, and his whole thing is bring the joy. And instead of, so ours is bring fun, bring the joy. I think ultimately once the end result is people enjoy being at work, that for me is enough.
So I love where you're going with this. And the word that comes to mind for me is fulfillment. You see, when I was a kid, I didn't enjoy pulling weeds. It was not my favorite. When my dad would come downstairs at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and it was absolute, I hated hearing him walk down the stairs because he was going to wake me up on my Saturday morning and make me pull weeds for 4 hours. Okay. It was not going to be fun. Nothing about pulling weeds is fun. I pretend I was asleep, right? Deep sleep, you guys, a very deep sleep. And of course, there'd be times where he'd pull the covers off. I know, child abuse, right? He'd pull the covers off and grab me by the ankle.
He should have been reported.
I know, right? And pulls the covers off and, little tug on the ankle. Hey, wake up, man. You're in a deep sleep, buddy. We got some things to do. And of course, I wanted to be mad at him. I wanted to be so mad, so angry at my dad. But the minute we got out there and started pulling weeds, he cracked jokes. And the time went by really, really fast. And I loved it. I loved being with my dad, and I couldn't stay mad at him. I never could stay mad at my dad. And so this work ethic, or at least finding fulfillment at work, the reason why I bring the story up is I haven't had the same experience with my son. Now, let me tell you what I'm getting at. Well, I've created a lifestyle for my kids that I didn't have. And I'm certain that many people who listen to this podcast are in the same boat. Business owners that have created upbringings for their kids that they themselves didn't have. And so the question now becomes, how do we create a worth ethic among those who may have experienced the same thing growing up, right? We were talking to my editor the other day, and he asked me about Zach, because Zach is helping me with my next book that I'm working on. And the editor of the book wondered if Zach had ever gotten his hands dirty. And of course, Zach could have been totally offended by that, right? In fact, he was putting in a fence the other day around his house with his neighbor and such. And so of course he's worked with his hands, but it was an interesting question posed by my editor. And so the reason why I bring all this up is that you're working with a bunch of individuals that may not, because of their age group, may not know or have had as much experience working as the Gen X has or what have you. And so we've got to create a place of fulfillment and fun for them. So in that environment, they can learn how to work and to enjoy working and to feel fulfilled in their work, so that it motivates them to be on time every day and perform at an extremely high level. So yeah, fun has become extremely important. Why? Because in their upbringing, they may not have learned to work like we did.
That's fair. I think a big part of this conversation should be like, I think we could talk about why it's important, but I mean, I think contractors or people in general know, like, hey, more gets done when people are enjoying. I don't think this is the conversation that we need to spend a ton of time on. I think it's more on the execution of it, because it's like, oh, okay, it's supposed to be fun, but I have accounts receivable, accounts payable person that they type all day. How do I make that fun? It's not as complicated as you think. I'll let you guys chime in first, but I got some systems for this. What are the odds of that?
No, I'm curious. Unless someone else is pressing ideas, I'm curious. Why don't we have them in our culture?
Yeah, I'm curious. I would love to hear Josh.
What? No, we
Josh's system.
No, we have a ball. We have a ball of a time, but I didn't. I don't think necessarily our fun is systematic because it's a part of who we are.
But that's what makes it systematic. Like, good systems are like good salespeople. you don't even know they're there. They're just happening. Like from the outside in, it's really obvious. When it's happening to you, no one, if you're getting, if you have a good salesperson in front of you, you never feel sold,
Fair.
right? You're looking to buy. It's the same thing with a good system. A good system, you don't realize it's happening. You're driving towards it, but I mean, you may or may not realize why. So like, I want to do this because
I love meeting those people.
Laura, like I build fun purposely in our business. Laura is not entirely aware of all the things that we do, right? So Laura,
Oh no, that's true. But go ahead.
what do we do to make sure we have fun
What do we do that we make sure we have fun?
as a business, not individually?
I think we consistently monitor attitude, like as in like if the mood is low or the energy is low, one of us, you or I, typically are become aware of that with like very quickly, and do something, say something, have a conversation about something that immediately changes the mood, and then the meeting is productive, fun, and everybody's in better spirits. That's just an ongoing part of what we do.
It's called a pattern interrupter. We do it all the time. The moment someone's distracted, someone's not excited, not smiling on a Zoom call, pattern interrupter instantaneously goes in. We have systems for this, whether that's making a joke, whether that's bringing up something fun that happened, whether that's storytelling, whatever, right? But pattern interrupters is a simple way we do it, right? Another way we do it is communication. Like we communicate fun, correct? Walk them through that.
Well, we actually part of our hiring process is GPF. So we make sure that, and I heavily screen anyone that we'd even consider. Well, no, I typically I get the person when they've been through the GPF filter, and then they come to me. And the GPF filter is: are they growth orientated? Do they care about achieving profitability for us and all our clients? And are they fun? And so that's our systematic way of making sure that the people we bring in have the capacity to have fun.
Well, that's the hiring process, but I'm saying communication specifically. Like, how many times have we had the conversation where we send out an email and it's like, where's the fun in this? Like, we're sending this to client. This is like corporate. That's not us. Where's the GIF? Where's the picture? Where's the fun? Where's the hook? Where's the excitement? Where's the story? We do that with our own selves too, right? Zach, you trying to say something?
No, I was just making a hook gesture.
Yeah. We were literally told by our executive assistant that she thinks we're weird in the best of ways or something like that. What was her term?
I don't know.
She used?
I don't know.
And I was just like,
She's
yeah,
could be the
that makes
craziest of all
sense.
of us. So I don't know. She builds tiny houses. I'm throwing it out on a podcast for the world to now. She builds tiny houses as a hobby. I don't even know what that really means.
That's awesome. I've seen those.
Have you?
That's
Yeah,
fun.
they're actually, she's actually super bloody talented.
Yeah.
You
We
should
had
see these
we had an
houses, they're
employee. We had an employee a couple years ago who lived in one of those.
No. I mean like miniature on your desk tiny houses.
Oh,
They're amazing. She does a really bloody good job.
Oh, okay. Well,
Like
never mind.
dollhouses.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She likes making doll houses, kind of.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool.
Anyway,
So actionable is.
So I want to point something out.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, that detail that you know about your executive assistant, I guarantee the fact that you know that and you have conversations about that with her make her work more fun.
Oh, for sure.
Because
They excite her.
knowing personal details about people's lives and having conversations with them about those things, showing a genuine interest, that in itself makes work more fun too. Right? You've got your kid's soccer game coming up this weekend. Your boss is like, hey, Johnny's got a soccer game on Saturday. You know, what position does he play? Has he scored any goals this year? That makes work more fun, simply being noticed and understood.
100%. 100%.
Hey, so I appreciate Zach shamelessly inserting the pattern for excellence in this conversation. So I will bring it home. He's talking about listening to your people. What does that mean? What that means is that the biggest reason why people leave an organization is because they feel misunderstood, not necessarily because of their pay or their hard or difficult or weird working hours. It's because they don't feel like they fit in. And so your goal as a result is to show them that you're listening, show them that you care, and then give your attention before you take information. Those 3 steps right there, listening, caring, and giving, are all 3 steps in the pattern for excellence. All right. So thank you, Zach, for inserting the pattern for excellence.
I think we just need like a flow chart behind Brigham at all times. And like whenever conversation comes up, he just points.
He's like, see,
Section,
see.
pattern. I have talked about this. I know all about this one. Yeah. No.
So we've said a system is monitoring mood and not just ignoring it, like inserting the fun when you gauge that mood is low. 100%. What are some other actionables?
Communication style is one of the most important things. Like if you go in with negativity, you're going to breed negativity.
100%.
You have to breed excitement and fun and joy
100%.
when you talk to the team, and when your managers or your supervisors talk to their team members, and all the way down the line. Even how you talk to vendors, and like if you have a vendor who doesn't like taking your phone call because you're always bitching and complaining, like that bleeds into other things, right? Like
100%.
everybody has issues. There's always mistakes happening, always. But that's part of doing business. You can't be upset. You can't be grimy about it. You can't be difficult. You can't be negative. You have to use them as growing opportunities, right?
Pessimism has to be parked.
No question. No question. Your positivity attracts people for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like it's so you see this commonly, that when it's coming to like crunch time and maybe goal is not being met that month, or it doesn't look like it's going to be. It's so easy for the leader to become pessimistic, being like, what are we doing? You guys haven't done enough. That's not helping anybody. It's just demoralizing your whole flipping team. Instead, how can we take massive bloody action to make sure we do? And if they're in a positive mindset while striving toward hitting that goal, because you haven't been an ass, then the likelihood of those hitting the goal, the greater belief, it makes achieving goal far easier and likely.
Yeah.
Now, a warning on fun though.
Go ahead.
Sarcasm is the lowest form of humor. Sarcasm is not a good long-term solution for having fun. We're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of sarcasm. But sarcasm is the lowest form of humor. And in the long run, if you're relying on sarcasm as a way to inject fun into your business, there's truth to every joke.
Can you give me an example? I agree.
Sure. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example that I did this week, actually. And after I got off the call, I was like, I got to tone down the sarcasm.
Go ahead.
So me and Stephen Dale, our director of trainer, have this thing between us where we always make fun of each other's ages, right? Because I'm the young, confused millennial, and and I always make jokes like he's old enough he could be my dad, right? And so this Monday on the meeting, we kept taking jabs at each other on the jokes. I was like, hey, if you need me to drop you off at the old folks home on the way home, let me know. Happy to do that. And then he was making jokes about how I don't know music and pop or culture from growing up. And it was fun, right? People laughed. But I got off the call and I was like, sarcasm's fun, but it always leaves a little bit of, there's a tinge of regret when you're the deliverer, and there's a tinge of pain when you're the receiver. Even though it was technically in what we call good fun, right? You can't take a joke. Well, sarcasm is not a great long-term option if you're using that to inject fun into the workplace.
Yeah. And if there's no substance in the conversation in the meeting, what was the point of the meeting?
Apparently, they just talked about who was young and old. That was a very powerful meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Good point.
I find that here's been an observation of mine, and you might totally disagree, but I don't I genuinely think that you are fun, and you don't just go to sarcasm. People, I think, who just revert to sarcasm solely revert to sarcasm are actually just people who are not funny.
Yeah. Or that they're that's their way of showing unhappiness or
right.
discontent. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this way of evoking their misery.
Yeah.
There's truth to every sarcastic joke. When people, sometimes we've talked about that before. Lindsay and I are director
That's
operations.
fair, actually.
People have made sarcastic jabs in a meeting, and afterward I'll be like, I know they meant it as a joke, but I think we should look into this person and see if everything's all right. Because no one ever says a joke like that unless there's some truth to it. You know?
That's good. I've never thought about there's always some truth to sarcasm. You're right, there is.
Always.
Yeah.
Huh.
And hopefully you're paying attention enough to recognize it and address it and make sure that we get back to having fun.
Right. Or to Zach's point, that if it's a sarcastic comment about something that's potentially, going on, address it.
Yeah.
Take care of your people, don't allow something that could be, a bothersome thing go unnoted.
There's another word for sarcasm, and that's passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Some people don't have the guts to share directly with you how they really feel.
What are they?
And if
what do they
their
call those
value,
people online? Keyboard warriors, isn't it?
Troll.
Troll or keyboard warriors, yeah.
Yeah, so we want to pay attention to those guys because what they're saying in a roundabout way could be the thing that leads them to leaving the organization. If you value them and you want to keep them, you gotta sit down with them, and if you messed up, apologize, or if there's something you just didn't notice, apologize, fall on your sword, fix it, make it right, and let's get them growing. The whole point is to continue to create an environment of growth. And if we continue to create an environment of growth in the organization with fun, with constant goal setting and challenges being made, that we can keep them going, right? We never want them to feel like they've learned everything they can learn.
Like you said, like Zach said there, his idea of fun is going to those retreats and coming up with creative ideas. Honestly, that sounds like a bloody ball to me as well. It mightn't be that for everybody, but the fact of the matter is you guys have found something that most people in your organization do find fun. So I think that is possible. It mightn't be the generic party or the generic massage or the generic whatever. It's just get creative on what is that group thing that you can do that most of your company find fun.
Yeah, which I think is another systematic. I think there's nothing wrong with creating events to create fun too. It just can't be your whole strategy.
Correct.
There's nothing wrong with doing happy hour Fridays. There's nothing wrong with doing the Dave and Buster's. There is nothing wrong with doing retreats. It's just that should be reinforcing. It shouldn't be the whole strategy, because if that is your strategy, you will lose people. You just will over time, because it's the everyday grind that wears people down. It's not the you can't recharge someone's batteries once a month.
I agree. It seems like it's the consistent sustainability of like enjoyment,
right?
And a bonus is like anticipation of fun. It's like, you guys know your retreats are coming up, so your whole team are like, oh, it's only a month away, this is going to be fun, or whatever. It's the anticipation of fun is I think a helpful and healthy bonus, so coupled with sustained enjoyment.
Yeah. And so I think this leads on to kind of events is another strategy, but one of the most powerful strategies is, I'm going to call it like public celebration or rewards and praise, right? If you're consistently celebrating as a team and taking your wins and celebrating and giving praise, and sometimes actual physical or monetary rewards, sometimes just verbally, that is incredibly powerful to creating more fun in your organization. But there are two sides to that coin. Some of that needs to be repeatable. Like, hey, we hit sales goals. Every time we get that sales goal, we celebrate. Like that's a no-brainer. It needs to be done every single month, right? And you could have monetary goals. You could buy lunch. You could whatever, right? All the above. But you also need unexpected praise and rewards too, and celebrations. Ones they don't see coming, because that's what keeps them on their toes more. So you need both sides of that. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that well to everybody?
Yeah. I like the word sporadic, because if you do it too often, they come to expect it, as opposed to
sporadic, unexpected. It really is just like, hey, I heard about this amazing customer, service experience provided. I'm going to buy you and your wife dinner. Mm-hmm. Like something totally out of the blue, and then publicly made known all the same. Like, don't just if you're going to give someone something, get the credit for it. So I think that's a big strategy too, is that public celebration, reward, praise, both consistently. The consistent is super important. That's going to drive everyday goals. Like if we get something when you hit that sales goal and we, celebrate as a team, that drives them. The unexpected one is what makes them feel the extra love, builds the extra relationship, takes you to the next level. And by the way, none of these have to be expensive or difficult or time consuming.
And don't think for a moment that because you're a small company, you can't do it. I have a team of 50 employees, and we've got one employee whose job is to delight. What's the specific title, Zach, that Nathan has?
He is the director of surprise and delight.
Yeah. So with our employees
Awesome.
and our customers, he does sporadic things to surprise and delight them. That's his job. That's what he does. He's got a budget each month that he sticks to, and that's what he does. He makes it fun. He makes it fun day in and day out, week in and week out. Every once in a while, he says, "Hey, I'm going to highlight this person. Will you do this or do that? Create a video or write a little something nice." And we do. So, and it's awesome. It's been a great fit for him, and it's a great fit for this organization. It fits our culture really, really well.
Yeah. And you don't have to hire someone to do that, just to clear. That's big boy stuff, and I love it. And we do, we have similar with Parker and Sons with other companies we work with, but internally Clover, we're not big enough to do that. But the key is like culture doesn't happen by accident. It could happen to you, or you could create it, right? You don't want it to happen to you. This has to be a purposeful effort. You have to put thought process into what you could do to have more fun, pay attention to the mood of your team member and your business, to your customers, to everything, right? And you have to take action and have a plan. And just like anything else, hey, we thought this would kick off, but it didn't really excite them. Let's not do that again. Let's try something else.
Love it.
I have like content FOMO here. The vacuum in our home started running as you shared that thing, that big boy thing. So
it was like the most important thing, and you missed it altogether.
I'm sure. Well, good guys. I think we've come to the end of the podcast. Hopefully you found that fun. But most importantly, it's that you start creating fun in your organization and culture. Again, we're happy to have further conversations privately with any listener who wants that conversation. Just go ahead and our calendar link is out and about in many areas. Find it, book some time with us, and I'll make sure that our growth strategists get to talk with you, and we can help you along if you're stuck with anything. And I know the same goes for Power Selling Pros. Thank you guys. Take care. Have fun. And we will see you on the next episode.
All right, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow us, stalk us. Please. We appreciate that. And we're talking about unexpected surprises and praise and rewards. Whoever, we'll pick someone that's subscribed randomly and give a little extra reward here in the next month or so, just for fun. We'll do it on our end, or we'll do it as a group. But until next time, guys, why don't you just go out and go change the world?
Yes.